Hi guys, this is Baby's Western Pleasure vlog number 4, and this is probably about our 7th ride or so this year. This was July 17th, and this is with my new Soloshot 3, so you'll see it tracking, and this isn't cropped in or anything, this is just its regular zoom, and see how, as I get farther, see how it just zoomed in right there. It's really cool. I really like it. I'm very anxious to use it again. And coming up in just a few seconds, she's going to do a little spook. That hole is where we drain the pool. It drains into the pasture, and there was a pigeon getting a drink. So she wasn't expecting that. But that was the kind of spook that you want to have. I like that kind of spook, if they're going to spook. I prefer no spooking, but that's a good spook. And right here, I'm getting ready to ask her to stop with my seat. And she did really good. That was good. And I test her a lot when we're stopped. I make her get her face because a lot of times whenever you pick up on the reins with her, she'll want to walk off. So that doesn't always mean that we're going to walk off just because I jiggle my hands to make her get her face. I'm trying to get her used to listening to my seat and my legs to walk off. And the way my body shifts, my body will kind of shift forward a little bit, and I use my legs, and I want her to learn that that's what walk off means, not just because I pick up on the reins. So I usually test her every time I stop her, and I'll make her get her face a couple times, and sometimes I'll make her just stand there for a while too. So that kind of stuff really helps one that doesn't want to stand still when you whoa, or that doesn't want to walk on a loose rein. Just doing the opposite of what they want to do. So if they don't want to walk, that's all you do. You just work on your walk then. Just make them walk and walk. And if they want to do something else, like trot or lope, you make them walk and make them walk. And eventually they start to relax and they get used to just walking. And so you just make them do the opposite of what they want to do. And for one that wants to walk through the whoa and then not stand still, sit there and make them stand still. If they walk off, make them back. Or like when she doesn't listen to my seat when I ask her to whoa, if she kind of walks through it too much, I make her back. And yeah, that's kind of a correction. You make them do the opposite. And she's getting really good at listening to my seat now. She still has her moments. Chance, he's really good. He listens to my seat really well, and I don't even have to touch the reins. Sometimes with her, I still have to touch the reins, but I want to get to where I can do everything with her on a loose rein and not have to help her. Even walking, if she starts to raise her head, I use my legs and squeeze, and right here I'm using the reins to help her get her face. And I don't want her to just give me her face. I want her to accept it and break at the withers. So here, we kind of aren't starting off that great at the jog, but it gets better as we go on. And right here, she's giving her face, but she's still not really giving me what I want. So I kind of stay on her just a little bit. I like to really see her. And right there, she was pushing out her right shoulder. And so when she does that, to me, that's what I call she's not between my legs. She's not straight between my legs. If they're pushing out a rib cage or a shoulder and they're not straight between your legs, so if you're feeling more pressure on one leg than the other, they're probably pushing out. And for her right there, see, she's kind of giving her face, but she's not giving me her body. And for her, when I do take a hold of her face, she will try to push something out, and it's just because she doesn't want to stay straight and lift. She wants to avoid that, and she's not being bad. It's just that she might not have the muscle strength to do that, or I just think it's more of an avoidance of just something being weak or stiff, and it's easier to poke something out rather than carry themselves. When I pick up on her sometimes, she'll want to like cut in. And one reason, I think it just, they're avoiding. They're avoiding being collected and lifted, and it might make it easier if they push something out. And like I said in a couple of my other videos, that's a leak. I call it a leak or a lean. It can be a lean. They're leaning to the left or to the right, or they can have a lean forward, or I call it a leak. You know, their energy's leaking forward. And she tends to have that. She tends to have a forward leak. That's why she doesn't stop with my seat. She walks through it. She doesn't want to stand still sometimes. She thinks when you pick up on the reins that, okay, it's time to go forward. And to me, that's a leak of energy. A leak of energy if they're pushing a shoulder out or a rib cage, and it's because it's a leak because the energy's draining out. And if the energy's draining out of, and see, she didn't really stop good on there. That's why I backed her. She kind of had that leak forward and didn't stop crisp. So when they have a leak like that, the energy drains out. And if the energy is draining out forward or left or right, they can't really be lifted and collected. And for Western pleasure, you want them to be lifted and collected all on their own on a loose rein. You don't want to have to hold them. Local shows, you can get away with holding them and helping them, with the tighter rein. But my goal is I want to do it with a loose rein. And right here, she's doing pretty good there. Her stop was a little bit better. She did kind of walk through it a couple steps. And I should have backed her, but because she stopped after that and just stood there, I kind of let her be. She was actually being a good girl. It wasn't too bad. That stop was better than the last one. But I asked her to get her face, and she walked off nicely. I usually test her with that when we're standing there, but this time I didn't. I just wanted to walk off because she gave me her face really nicely and dropped it and broke at the withers. And if you ask for their face and they're giving their face, but they have like an arch in their neck, or they're breaking more like right behind the pole at the top of their neck, then for Western pleasure, that's not really what you want. You want them to break at the withers, and you want their necks to be flatter. Like right here, she's breaking at the withers, and she's still soft in her mouth. And she's not just giving me her face and like resisting, because if they have that arch in the neck, or like right behind their ears, like behind by their poll, if their break is there and they're not dropped at the withers, they're giving their face, but they're not really accepting. So their body's going to be tenser and tighter and just stiffer. They're not going to flow. Their movement's probably going to be more choppy. So my goal with her is like right there, maybe even a little bit lower. She came up a little bit. I think I'm maybe going to ask her to jog. Yeah, she tends to do that when I ask her to jog. She wants to lift her head up just a little bit. So, and I probably didn't get a hold of her face enough and push her into it as much. But we're not really working on our transitions up or down. We're working more on her staying straight between my legs and reins. And so I didn't really correct that. Like if I were to work on that, I would have maybe stopped her and backed her, maybe redirected her and jogged her off again. But like right here, I think her head's a little bit too high. And she broke. It's like she broke because she wasn't collected. I needed to take a hold of her face and push her into it a little bit more. And so see that arch in her neck right there? She's not doing exactly what I want her to do. And I've been riding her with a shank bit, a 3-piece shank bit, and using my hands really light. And right here, I probably should have used them. That's actually pretty good right there. So the head set and breaking at the withers is a sign that they're doing well, plus what you're feeling from your hands and their mouth, if they're accepting or if they're resisting. And those are signs of usually their body's doing what it's supposed to too. Because if they get bracy in the mouth or their neck, or their face, their jaw, you can tell when they do that. They get bracy and then their flow. They're not flowing. They're not lifted. And there, I felt that she was doing good, so I asked her to walk, and she broke down from the jog to the walk really nice. That's why I petted her on her butt. So that was really good. I liked that. So yeah, I hadn't ridden her in the ring snaffle since the second time I rode her before I brought her home. I rode her twice before I brought her home, and I had put her in the ring snaffle the second time I rode her just to see what she felt like in that. And so I've had her about a year and a half, a little more than a year and a half, I think. And this is the first time I've had her in this, I think, since I've had her. So, like I said, I've tried a couple different bits on her, and I do like the shank bit that I'm using. It's a short shank 3-piece bit, and she seems to like that. But today I wanted to put her in a ring snaffle and just see how pushy she's being, because that's how you can really tell if you put them in a snaffle, and you can just tell if they're heavy in the face and the mouth, or if they're walking through your woes, and just really see where they are. And I like that right there. She's relaxing, and I am not sure what that was about. I remember her doing that. I'm not sure why she was doing that. But yeah, because I didn't have tension on the bit or anything. She was just being goofy, I think. I don't know. But yeah. And did I say how much I really like this Soloshot? It's like so cool. Even for me sitting here editing it and watching it, I can just see so much more detail, and it helps me to see the things that we need to work on more. And again, like if you saw that jog, she kind of lifts her head and neck a little bit because it's almost like she's resisting going into it. So that will be one thing that we need to work on, is like going into the jog better, making her push into her face a little bit more so her head doesn't elevate when we start to go from the walk to the jog. But like I said, we weren't really focusing on that. It is one thing that kind of bothers me, but we'll get to that eventually. Like I said, I think the main thing for us is just to get her straight between my legs and between my reins so she can be lifted and learn to carry herself. So then once she can carry herself on a loose rein, then we might start working on the transition up into the jog. But I just go by how I feel for that particular day and what we need to work on. And right there, she just broke again. She was kind of wanting to be a little resistant. Like right there, you can see her neck. She was kind of a little resisty and not flowing. She wasn't lifted up to me, and that's why she broke. At least that's the way I would describe it anyway. And like right here, she's not really dropping at the withers as much as I want. And it's hard for me to like say exactly what I was feeling at the time because I'm just watching it now. She was pushing out right there, coming around both of those turns. She was pushing that right shoulder to the inside. That's why I was lifting up on the right rein like that, and I was using my leg to push her over to get on the correct arc because she was pushing that shoulder out. She wasn't on the correct arc, and then when they do that, then they can't be lifted and flowy and crisp. So that was a leak of her energy coming out her right shoulder. Yeah, just watching this, it's like it's just helping me to see what I need to work on. And right there, she was going really good, and I asked her to walk with my seat, and she did. That was really nice. And I would call that nice because when I'm using my legs and my hands to help her, to make her feel straight, get her where her face is feeling soft and where she's feeling lifted, when I feel like I get her there by helping her then when I feel like she's doing it, that split second I let go of the reins, and if she holds it for a couple strides, then I'll ask her to walk or whoa, just to let her know that's what I wanted, so then she gets to rest a little bit. And so that's what happened. She held it for a couple strides, and then I asked her to walk, so then she gets to walk around as her reward instead of jogging around. And actually, I think the rest of the video is us just walking. I think we're done with our jogging. So I usually walk around for a little bit after I'm done doing whatever I'm going to do with them, jogging and loping and stuff like that. And with her, we haven't loped yet because I feel like I need to get her where she's straighter between my legs and not really pushing out and has a little bit more lift. So we've been just walking and jogging, and I just don't feel like it would do any good to lope, because if she can't do it at the jog yet and stay straight and have the headset that I want, that I don't really want to lope her yet until we can get the jog a little bit better before we go into the lope. And she needs to learn the way that I ride better. She needs to learn my cues and my seat and my legs, and she has to have a better understanding of what I want before I want to try the lope. And yeah, just after we get done with everything like this, I like to just walk around, relax. And so we work on our Western Pleasure walk when we're done, because although it's pretty good when we start off, it's better after we've done our jogging and I've gotten her a little straighter between my legs, where she's like collected and lifted more, really listening to my legs and my seat. And right here we're just practicing our back. And I'm trying to get her used to the way that I use my seat and my legs for her to back, so eventually we can do it without me using the reins, where I can just use my seat and legs like I do for Chansey. And this is just one of our just patient things. We're just standing here, seeing if she'll stand. See, she wanted to kind of walk forward just a little bit, and I don't want her to do that yet. So we've done a lot of this, a lot of standing and being patient. And like I said, I test her sometimes too. I'll move the reins while we're just standing there to see if she'll walk off or if she'll stand there. Sometimes she tries to walk off, sometimes she doesn't. So yeah, I just like to test her with that kind of stuff. And right now, usually I'll end with one-handed. So even though she's in a ring snaffle, it's like I just like to see. This shows me how in tune she is with my legs and seat. Like right there, that was a really good stop. She listened to my seat. And yeah, just riding with one hand, especially in a ring snaffle, it just kind of shows me when I go to guide her how well she's listening to my legs and my seat, and not necessarily me having to use the reins to guide her. And that was a really nice walk off too. I just kind of shifted my seat forward to see if she would move from it. I just like to play with stuff like that, like turning and stopping and walking off again, just to see how much I can do with my seat and my legs without using my hands. And then just kind of use my hands as a reinforcement. And I like to just relax and make it no big deal, so she learns to just kind of like drop her head and relax too. And yeah, like right there. And I don't mind if she gets it low, because I think at home, if they get it low, that's okay, because when they get to a show, they usually don't carry it quite as low. So if you can get them where they're carrying their head lower at home, then I think that's a good thing. And right there, that's not too bad. That's even better right there. I like that. I like when she gets her ears where they go below the withers. And they're not really supposed to do that in the show ring. Like right there, I like that look, especially for home. Because when they can get that relaxed at home, like I said, when they get to a show, they're going to raise their head just a little bit. And if it's low at home, at the show, a lot of times then it'll look more level, because it's supposed to be, the top of their ears are supposed to be even with their withers. I usually like it just like a slightly bit lower. And I think it depends more on the individual horse too, because some can carry their heads a little bit lower and still look good and travel correct. Some can't. And that was a really nice stop with my seat. I think the last one I lifted my hands just a little bit, even though the reins were loose, but this one was total stop from the seat. I don't think I lifted my hands at all on that. I'll have to go back and watch it. But yeah, and she's kind of wanting to take a step or two. She's kind of sneaking, and we're practicing her back again. She kind of started backing a little lighter that time, and now I'm going to test her again, I think, and just stand here if I remember. Yep, see, she walked off. And she has gotten better because she would want to keep walking forward before she'd test me more, you know, where I'd make her stay and then she'd try to walk off again. So she's getting a lot better at just standing here, and we've done a lot of this. You know, it's boring. Well, to me it's not. I don't mind doing that kind of stuff. You know, I'll just sit there and make her stand and make her stand, and when she goes to walk off, I'll just like make her stand, and I don't mind doing this kind of stuff. For some people it's boring, but to me I like it because I like to see what I can get them to do. And anyway, I think that was a really, really good ride. I was happy with it, and I'm so happy with the Soloshot. And yeah, so I wasn't going to do a full session like this with the voiceover, but my sister says she likes this kind of video better. She likes it when I do talk over them instead of using just the music. So I figured I would use this as just a whole session, me talking through about what I'm doing and what I'm working on and different things, because she likes to listen to that. So I might make another one that's just highlights, just a shorter video with music. So yeah, I was kind of trying to get her. Usually she'll turn and follow me, but it's almost like she was like, no, I want to be on video more. Like she was being a ham. I think I ended up having to go back and get her. But she's like, yeah, I want more video time. I think she was proud of herself too. So now I got her turned around. So now she'll follow me. She follows me back. And this is just like so cool that my video camera tracks us, and look, it's zooming in for us. And yeah, so anyway, if you like this kind of session and want to see more of these, I can do more of these too. Comment below or give a thumbs up, and I'll make more of these, and along with the shorter ones with the music too. So let me know, and I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.